Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Good evening, Honorable City Council members, Mayor McCrate, to our City Treasurer, to our Deputy Clerk, to the administrative staff, those in the audience, and those who are viewing tonight's broadcast through YouTube Live. Welcome to the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting, and today's date is Monday, October 3rd, 2022. Members of the public wishing to participate in this meeting may do so under the public comment portion of the agenda. Please fill out a request to speak public comment card located on the table in back of the chambers and hand it to the deputy clerk. Additionally, members of the public who are viewing tonight's meeting via our broadcast channel or YouTube Live can submit their comments to publiccomment@romulusgov.com. And at this time, we will have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo.
Here.
Councilman Barton.
Here.
Councilwoman Roscoe.
Here.
Councilwoman Talley.
Here.
Councilman Wadsworth is absent this
Excused.
So noted. Councilwoman Webb.
Here.
And Councilwoman Williams.
Here.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you.
Tonight's regular council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda. Number 2, minutes. Number 3, petitioner. Number 4, chairperson's report. 5, mayor's report. 6, clerk's report. 7, treasurer's report. 8, public comment. 9, unfinished business. 10, new business. 11, communication. And number 12 is adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved to accept the agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the agenda as presented. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Number 2, the minutes. For approval are the minutes from the regular council meeting held on September 26, 2022 at 7:30 p.m.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for approval of minutes from the regular meeting held on Monday, September 26, 2022 at 7:30.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the minutes from our regular meeting held Monday, September 26th at 7:30. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Abstain.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved.
Thank you. Agenda item 2B. For approval are the minutes from the special meetings that were held on Monday, September 26, 2022 at 6:00 p.m. to discuss employee matters, study session at 6:45 p.m. to discuss the quarterly investment report, and study session at 7:15 p.m. to discuss union matters. This was an executive session. Motion would be in order to approve those special meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion to approve the special meetings held on Monday, September 26, 2022 at 6 p.m. for the Employee Matters Study Session, the 6:45 meeting to discuss the quarterly investment report, and the 7:15 meeting to discuss the union matters.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the minutes from the special meeting held on Monday, September 26, 6 p.m. to discuss employee matters, study session. 6:45 p.m. to discuss the quarterly investment report, study session. And at 7:15 to discuss union matters, executive session. Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Ms. Talley.
Yes.
Ms. Webb.
Abstain.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. There are no petitioners on the agenda. Number 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We had no special meetings tonight. Therefore, the chairperson doesn't have a report.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept your report.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council. Treasurer, Madam Clerk. This is the audience meeting tonight, and also listening to my at home. I'm sorry, is that on now?
Better.
Before I begin my report today, I'd like to direct your attention to the screen where we have Vanessa Tolliver for some valuable information for the residents of the city.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Tolliver, and here are some events happening in Romulus. The next step in the process of our Visioning Romulus, Our Community, Our Future, will be a series of focus group sessions taking place on November 9th through the 10th. More information will be coming soon. The community survey is still open until October 14th, and we need more input from the community. Please share with your friends, family, and neighbors. Print copies are available at City Hall. All Wayne County residents are invited to participate in a free household hazardous waste collection from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, October 15th at Wayne County Community College Taylor's campus. Acceptable items include paint, polishes, fertilizers, antifreeze, fire extinguishers, computers, and more. The Romulus Athletic Center is offering a kids' night out from 6 to 9 p.m. on the first Friday of October, November, and December. Participating children must be registered by 9 p.m. the Monday before each kids' night out. Thanks, everyone, and remember to like and share us on Facebook and YouTube or visit our website for more information. Have a great night.
Thank you, Vanessa. Great information. Just wanted to share it, get the word out. I also want to double down on the visioning process, too. We want to make sure that residents know they go to the city website. It's also on Facebook. Go to the visioning process. Please take the application. Take a few minutes of your time. Let us know where you want the city to head in the next few years. So it's important to get that information out. We did extend the deadline until October 12th, the 14th of October, because we wanted to add input from our students at the high school too. We want to hear what the kids want to see in this community. So we're going to work with them to get additional information on the survey. But please take 15 minutes. Let us know what you think and where you want the city to head. I'd also like to recognize our Parks and Rec Director, Colleen Dumas, right now, for her hard work that she did with the archery program this year. And please come on up, take the podium. Once again, they ran the archery program at EJ's. We used to have for those who don't know, we had a great archery program there at EJ's. Then we rebuilt it, reopened it with the regional carpenters. We used to have the great Fred Berry used to come around us all the time. We had the Ted Nugent was here a few times. We had a great tradition in archery in the city around us that went away. We rebuilt it. Now you guys are bringing it back and teaching kids about the sport. So please go ahead and tell everybody what you got going on over there at EJ's.
All right, good evening, Honorable Council, Mayor, Clerk, and Chair, Treasurer, Colleen Dumas. We had a great turnout for our archery program. We have a few of our participants with us today. I want to give a special shout out to the parents for signing their kids up, and it's going to be a spinoff to these participants are equipped to compete on a national level. They are really, really good. So we want to build upon that and get into the schools, connect with our schools, and start these programs after school. But this group, they are our top performers, and we're going to sign them up to compete nationally. So let's give them a hand. I'm very proud of them. Can all the participants stand, please, that's here? Again, I'm looking forward to the parents, awesome job. We also had some adults out there. It's not just for our kids, it's for everyone. So I'm looking forward to us getting into the schools. I will be communicating with the schools so we can continue this program. I've been getting emails. People are so interested in our archery program. And thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, and thanks for great work, and thank you for everyone who participated in that program and bringing archery back to Romulus. We had, like I said, a strong tradition in it. And for those who are watching at home and might be interested in that, we have equipment that we received grants for. So we bought equipment, so we're supplying it with them to use out there in the field. So thank you again for pushing that, Colleen, and doing another great season, and thank you to everybody who participated. So another good thing going on at our Parks and Rec, so great work. Under action items I have for tonight, the first is an agreement for license for the Romulus Flyers. I would ask that council concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached agreement with the Romulus Athletic Club to allow the use of Elmer Johnson's Park for the purpose of football practice, football games, and end of season cleanup from October 5th, 2022 through November 11th, 2022.
I make that motion, John.
Through the chair, if I may.
Motion by Ms. Williams and supported by Ms. Webb.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Williams.
I'll make the motion to support the agreement and license for Romulus Athletic Center and the Romulus Flyers.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Williams, supported by Ms. Webb, for agreement and license for the Romulus Athletic Club, Romulus Flyers. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
Thank you. The next item I have for action is to piggyback on the GSA contract for security cameras with audio and visual. I would ask that council concur with the administration to consent with the piggyback on GSA contract GL 07F173CA for the purchase of new CCTV systems from Actron Security Alarm System Incorporated for a total of $56,875.14. And again, this is for internal security at our police department.
Through the chair,
Ms. Talley?
I'd like to concur, make the motion to concur with the administration and consent to piggyback on the GSA contract GL 07F173CA for the purchase of a new CCTV system from Actron Security Alarm Systems for a total of $56,875.14.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Webb, piggyback on GSA contract GL-07FF-173CA security camera system with audio vision. Any discussion?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Through the chair, I
Go
do
ahead.
have one, I have one question and one statement.
Okay.
I'm glad to see the forfeiture fund is back, as well as, the question is, when will this project be finished? How long will it take them to install the security alarms? I see we have our deputy
You
here.
call Deputy Chief Shelby up. You can speak a little bit more about the parameters of the project.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry.
Evening.
That's good morning. That just shows you how hard I work for the residents.
Yes.
But yeah, to answer the question, Councilwoman, with your blessing and approval, I'll be able to get the information back to the vendor, and according to him, he'll be able to start ordering the supplies. And with our supply chain issues across the country with every kind of commodity, it's maybe a little bit delayed, but we expect to have it up and running by January.
Thank you so much,
Miss-
because I know residents will be calling and asking how, the time frame, so
Okay.
I wanted to make sure you gave them the correct answer.
Okay. Mr. Shelby, Ms.
Yeah,
Williams?
Deputy Shelby, is this just for the inside of the police department, the police department itself, or is it for the cars, or what is this system, and where would it go?
Yeah, this is for the, mainly for the our building security, interior, exterior. And also what's important is it comes with a interview and recording system that we are mandated to have when we arrest certain individuals for certain offenses. Their interview has to be recorded per the state mandate. And also it records all of our interactions with pretty much everyone that comes into our contact. In the booking, in the lobby, pretty much everyone. So we want to try to paint an accurate picture every time we have interactions with our public so that it's all above board, it's transparent, and everybody can see how we operate.
So this is an upgraded system compared to the past system?
Yes, totally upgraded.
Well, thank you so much for upgrading.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes?
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved.
Thank you. That will conclude my report for this evening.
Thank you, Mayor.
Number 6 is the clerk's report. I have one action item, 6A. And this is for second reading and final adoption of zoning map amendment 1.258 for RZ-2022-002. Salvation Army has requested by Romulus Development LLC to rezone 18.27 acres of property located at 5931 Middle Belt Road. Parcel ID number is 80-0099-0020-703 from RM Multiple Family Residential to M1 Light Industrial. This zoning map amendment was introduced at the September 26th regular council meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
I will make that motion for second reading and final adoption of zoning map amendment 1.258 for RZ-2022-002 for the Salvation Army Romulus Development LLC located at 5931 Middle Belt Road.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for second reading and final adoption of zoning map amendment 1.258 for RZ-2022-002 Salvation Army Romulus Development LLC. In discussion. Ms. Abdo.
Thank you. I voted no, and I was asked to explain why. I had a call from someone and said, please explain why you just voted no. So that's what I want to do.
Okay.
First of all, I realize that this area was zoned this years ago, and the argument has been, oh, we're just moving back to what it was. Well, that was decades ago, and things have changed since then. I don't feel we need any more light industrial in that area. I received numerous calls from residents that live off of Middle Belt Road saying, they're concerned about it. I didn't receive any calls from anyone, any of the residents that we represent saying, please, change that to industrial zoning. So I'm going with what the people have called and asked me for. Thank you.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, and I also voted no. But afterwards, during last week, I went over and I spoke with several of the residents, and I explained to them what was coming, and up to at least 5 residents, and they had no issue. So if the residents don't have an issue with the company coming that will back up to their property, I don't either. So I changed my vote.
Okay. Any other discussion?
And through the chair, real quick, just to note for the record, when we had our package last week, it went through site planning, and there was an opportunity for the public to open and make discussions about it. There was no one present at that time who spoke up anything at that time. So I just wanted to note that for our record as well. There was no comments or anything made at the meeting
All right, thank you.
from the public, from the residents.
Thank you. If there's no other discussion, it's roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
No.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Webb,
Yes.
chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. That concludes the clerk's report. Number 7 is the treasurer's report.
Thank you. Good evening, council, mayor, clerk, deputy clerk, chief of staff, and listening audience. Just a reminder, winter tax bills do go out December 1st, and summer tax payments, you can still mail those in or bring them to the office, and we're collecting those through February 28th. March 1st, tax bills go down to the county. Thank you.
Thank you. That was my next question to ask you. Thank you. You answered it. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. Number 8 is public comment, and this is the portion of the agenda for those who are in the audience and would like to address City Council. The rules to address City Council can be found in the back of the meeting agenda. To address City Council, please raise your hand, and afterwards, after you've been acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium and state your name. Please note, members of the public who submitted a public comment card will be called upon first. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and any additional time will be upon the consent of the chairperson. As a reminder, members of the public viewing tonight's meeting via the city's broadcast channel or YouTube Live can submit their public comments to publiccomment@romulusgov.com before the end of the public comment period. Mr. Chair, we have several requests to speak,
Okay.
and
I appreciate if the audience would try to keep this under 3 minutes, because we have a lot of speech. Thank you.
okay. Actually, we've received 7 cards, requests. So, calling on the first person, Tony Heimberger.
Good evening, Tony Heimberger. I have been before this council before to try to remind you who you work for, and that is the citizens of this community that elected you. Last week, a council member brought up something, information that she was checking into, like all of you should be doing, and none of you do. Yet, you had Miss Talley jump up and go make a phone call to try stirring crap. That is classless and unacceptable. We need to remember you work for us, the citizens that elected you. If you're not going to work for us and do what we ask for, you may want to get up and leave now and leave your post and let somebody else do it that'll work for the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. The next individual who's requested to speak is Khan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here on behalf of Big Steve Customs. He informed me that he was having some problems, and he just asked me to speak on his behalf. And the only information that I have for the council is back in, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. All right, the only information that I have on behalf of Big Steve is during the summer, during the campaign, Ms. Williams was helping another gentleman campaign, and she openly told me that Big Steve Customs was taking customers' money and using it to finish the other half of his building. Now, it was none of my business to know, and she also told me that he was only paying $600 a month, which is also not my business. And that's the only that I have to say for Big Steve Customs, that he said he's been getting complaints or feeling like he's been bullied. And I feel that it's unfair for a city council person to go out and campaign and tell another company's business what he's making or what she think he's doing or what she's heard without facts or proof. So my bike was being worked at Big Steve's. I go over there to confront him, and even back then, he didn't say anything, he just let it ride. So he showed me the other half of his building. Nothing is being done over there. COVID hit, everybody took a hit, And that's all I have to say on behalf of Big Steve.
And I would like to say this to you.
Yes.
The conversation came up about the building. It's public information. That was a contract. And I'm not for sure if Big Steve shared with you that I assisted him in getting the building. He came to me and requested help, and I helped him. My comment last week was not to shut him down at all. He promised me that he was going to keep the agreement as he agreed to when it came before council. See, you have to understand policy. What I said last week was that the DDA director didn't give us the accurate information. One of the council members, if I'm not mistaken, or either two, asked the question, was he up to date before we voted? We were given the wrong information, okay? So the information that you guys are getting is totally inaccurate. The original deal was 600, and then because of the extensions, altogether now it's 3. That's public information. It's not telling his business, and I wasn't campaigning against him, so you have to be clear in what you say or accuse me of doing.
No, I didn't
That's
say you was
public
campaigning.
information.
I didn't say you was campaigning against
Okay, but it's
Steve.
public information to share
say
to the
that.
residents
I didn't say that.
what's going on. So I don't know what information Mr. Big Steve gave you, but it's totally incorrect, because I never spoke last week to say shut him down or put him out.
And I don't know anything about last week.
Okay, but you telling me what I said to you, so I'm
Yes,
telling you.
Exactly, and I'm telling you, when you said what you said to me about his business.
And it was accurate. Totally accurate. You
as
want to
far as
see the
taking-
documents?
As far as taking people's money. and-
That's what someone was saying in the
And
community.
that's my point to you. You relayed some information that wasn't. He showed
That's
you
how the
on
world
side.
go around.
Okay.
That's how it go
But
around.
you're a city council person, and that's all I'm saying. You're a city council person.
And you're a resident, and
Yeah.
you deserve information.
And he walked me through his building, and you said that they was taking money, he was taking their money, fixing the other side of the
Because
building.
someone else came to me complaining, sir, but I'm not gonna go back and forth with you.
we don't have to-
I done gave you the information,
No.
I'm done with
And
you.
I gave you proof too. The building is not.
You have no proof.
Okay.
The fourth individual who's requesting to speak is Mr. Brian Bush.
Hi, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Brian Bush. I'm a Romulus resident and business owner. I'm just here on behalf of my friend Big Steve. I just want to talk about the positives this last year since working with him. I met him back in October and last year, October. And since working together, we've implemented a bike night, game night. We're at our first Rumble in Romulus, and thank you guys for closing the street down. I appreciate that. And it's just been a success. My business has been struggling since the pandemic and dealing with, rising prices and other stuff. It's been difficult. But since then, bringing down bike night, it's helped my business tremendously. And it's really diverse up there, and it's cool. So I just ask if you guys, any questions, comments, or concerns moving forward, you have transparency, and let's just keep it going. So, are there any questions from you guys?
No? Thank you.
Good? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next individual is Shelley Smith.
Good evening, Romulus City Council and the Romulus and non-Romulus residents. My name is Shelley Smith, and I am a friend of Big Steve, and I'm a friend of Brian Bush. And basically what I want to say to you all is that thank you for all of the nice things that you're doing for the community. I actually feel like I'm part of the community because I served for FedEx for 12 and a half years, so I am familiar with this area. And so, long story short, I am advocating for Brian and for Steve because I believe that they are bringing a lot of positivity to this area, and whatever issues that are occurring, I'm hoping and praying that you all will work with them because it benefits the whole entire community with the activities that they're bringing. We have never had an issue at bike night or any of the other things. And I must say this, I'm actually a registered nurse. I work for Veterans Affairs, and I make it a point to come out here and to support these guys because they do something that's positive. And as the young man prior to me said, it's a lot of diversity. It's like a family. And whatever is going on, let's be more proactive instead of being at each other's throats or whatever, because at the end of the day, any business that is inside of the Romulus community, they're paying some type of taxes and it's helping the tax base in this area. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you, but please give these guys a break because they really are trying. They're young entrepreneurs and they're trying to make it work, and sometimes it's not that easy. But we can all work together to make it work. I'm sure there's a way. We don't have to be hostile or anything like that. Let's just work together because they're trying to do great things, and we're trying to make it even better next year with the activities that we have to bring to Romulus as a whole. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next request is coming from, I believe is it Marjorie Kelsey Courtney?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Council, Mayor, and everyone else. My name is Marjorie Kelsey. The last name, maiden name is Courtney. Resident of Romulus for many years. I'm here because last year I found out some disturbing news about my parents' property. In '94, they were evicted from the property, supposedly for not paying their taxes. Come to find out last year when I had a title search done, they were never foreclosed on. There's quite a list of properties from Romulus that may have or may be experienced to have lost their property just like my parents almost lost theirs. I purchased it back, so they didn't lose theirs. But there's quite a bit of property. This is a list of a lot of properties at that time that was foreclosed on or whatever. I contacted the DNR because our property came from the DNR like the rest of these did. But when I contacted them, they have no information of them purchasing or them receiving the property from the Wayne County Treasurer. Wayne County Treasurer has no record of them receiving the property. When a title search was done, the attorney said the property was never foreclosed on. So there's probably a lot of other people in the same boat that I'm in. And I'm just here, if you need some information, my email address is cchonsen54@aol.com. cchonsen54@aol.com. Most of you know my family members. Last name Courtney. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pardon, Chair.
Stacy.
I have a question for her.
Ms. Page had a question? Ms. Who you had a question for?
If you can come back up to the podium, please. I have a question for you. So I personally did not receive a phone call. And I know if when you talk about foreclosure, it is a Wayne County question. However, I would be happy to look into it for you.
I have a FOIA from Romulus also. You have no record. Romulus has no record. All they have is a record of, as the DNR selling the property to Romulus for $534 and some change. Other than that, I have 93 pages of FOIA information from Romulus. They have nothing. And the letter I just received from them the other day reiterated the same thing and asked me to contact the Register of Deeds. They have nothing. Nobody seems to have anything. No one seems to know how Romulus got their hands on that property.
Okay, two things. After the meeting, if you can stop up here, just so I can get some more contact information from you, a phone number.
Ms. Lammer has all my information.
Okay,
She has everything you need.
okay. And then, do you know, can tell me what year?
94.
Oh, that's quite a long time ago.
Yes, it is. I wouldn't have found that. It was a fluke that I found out. I had smoke damage in my house, and the underwriter said the property was in my name. That was a gift from Romulus without telling me that they had put the property in my name, and they were not supposed to. because they gave me a deed on yellow paper, which is worthless to me. I'm sure they've been doing this job for a long time. They should have known the paperwork should not have been on yellow paper, which made me not able to use it unless I come out of my pocket with some more money, which I should not have to do.
Okay, I'll be in contact with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next request is from Steve Harmon.
Good evening, everyone. City Council. My name is Steve Harmon, AKA Big Steve. I came here today because over the past month or so, maybe longer, I've seen to been topic of discussion because of the building that I leased from the city. One thing I will say is, I'm gonna touch on a couple things if I may. I may need maybe 5 minutes instead of 3, if that's okay. It's been discussed why my lease had been amended. It's the first 2 amendments were because the country and the rest of the planet was shut down. I signed that lease before COVID, and it was amended because I couldn't get in there to do any work. My contractor couldn't get in to do any work. The city's contractor couldn't get in to do any work. So after we got past that, and the state opened back up, at that point, no one could get anything to do the work to rehab this building. Now, if I may, I got pictures of a blueprint I had drawn up and where the building came from and where it is now. So, as I was saying, that's why we had the first 2 amendments. Then, I forget if it was 2 or 3, but however, once the contractor that was hired by the city was able to get in and start working, he couldn't get supplies, and it took him so long to get done that I just asked my contractor to go in there and do what you could. And my contractor went in there and in 3 weeks got pretty much everything I asked to get done. But then he was asked to stop by the city's contractor because they had to go back in there because they were moving so slow. So with that, so after that, they ended up finishing. Now, I started moving into the building.
Thank you.
And everything's been moving along. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow, because I build custom motorcycles. So we're in a recession whether people want to admit to it or not. So I've even had issues where I had to take people to litigation for me to get paid so I can pay my bills. But I know if I knew leasing a building from the city of Romulus was going to put me at the forefront to where if I miss a rent payment, it was going to be talked about. If a tax bill that I had no clue about, because when I signed that lease, I was told, Steve, you'd have to pay taxes on this building. And I said, Mayor Burcroft was his name? I said, Mayor, how much is the tax bill? He said, well, it's a city municipality. So at this point, we don't know. If they would have told me it was $8,500 for summer taxes, I would have left that place in shambles like I found it. I mean, it was in complete shambles. And if you can see, looking at those pictures, I put a lot of money into that building. A lot of money. I didn't borrow a quarter from anybody. That money came out of my pocket, out of my bank account. And the only reason the coffee house isn't finished is because of COVID. And the main reason is, it was supposed to be an HVAC system put into the building that I'm not gonna pay for because I don't own this building. And my contractor will not come in and do the work until the HVAC system is put in because he doesn't know if he's gonna go around something or through something. And if they come in and do an HVAC system after you put it in, he said they may tear the stuff down. I don't do that kind of work. I build motorcycles. And it just dumbfounds me that the 4 years that I've been here, you know, I never looked at Romulus as a community to live in, but I'm here, and I loved it. I met the people. And at one point, I don't know what happened, Ms. Williams. I don't know what happened. Let me finish before you cut in. You got the floor. I don't know what happened, I don't. We've always been neighborly. You stopped down at my house and you talked to me, and we used to do all of that. But it was like, with all this political circus here, I don't support anybody political publicly. What I do, who I vote for, is my business. And, you know, to tell me, don't vote for this person because they're racist, or don't vote for that person because they're going to act like they like you, and eventually they're going to turn their back on you and stab you in the back. That's not good politics. That's not. And I got the floor, but you can have it.
I'm just listening to you. I haven't said anything.
But you gestured.
You're on the road.
I am on the road because last week I was sitting down at the brewery with Brian, watching on YouTube the city council meeting, and my name came up. So I said, Brian, come on, let's go down there and watch live. 3 minutes down the block. So we came down, and we sat down right where your husband is sitting. And just like he's sitting, that's how I was sitting, with my arms like this. And after that, I talked to the mayor, I talked to Tina Talley, I talked to John Barton, and I left. And Brian walked in with me, he left out with me. But then I had to do something at the court. The next day, I go to the police department to get a police report, and they're telling me, Steve, you got a police report filed against you in your name for intimidation. And I'm like, well, who am I intimidating? Virginia Williams. She said you staring her down and looking at her, and she felt like her life was in danger. And so I got a copy of it, so I paid for a copy of the police report, and it's there. This is a public meeting. It's public. Anybody can come in here, whether they're a resident or a non-resident. All I did was walked in here. And for you to tell people that you felt threatened, that you need to call your husband, I'm not that guy. I've never been arrested. I've never been in trouble. And to sit up and tell people I carry a weapon, a lot of people in here got CPLs. I run a business, and sometimes I have tens of thousands of dollars in my shop. So I have to protect myself, because a lot of times the response time of these police departments, I can't count on nobody but myself. And I'm a end this. But if I knew that every time I was late on something that it's going to be blasted for the whole community, I would have stayed in my garage. I'd have went to Westland, Ypsilanti. But I came here to make a difference, because anybody that lives around here know that firehouse has been an eyesore. And the only thing that the county did, or Wayne County did, was to outside and put a parking lot in there. It looked like a bomb went off inside that building. You guys got pictures. And nobody said, oh, Steve put, I'm not going to even tell you the dollar amount, but I've been safe for the last 12 years. Out of every 100 I made, I put $50 up to go towards building a business. And it was wonderful for me to be able to build a business in my community, 6 minutes away from my house. But now, I'm not, you once said, I don't care if he's taking it personal. I'm not taking it personal, but all I want to know is why. Because I'm not the only person in Romulus, or whoever might even be leasing a city-owned building, that could be late. I caught everything up, because sometimes I don't get paid by the week. I get paid by the project. So if I do a job and I get an influx of cash, I take care of my business. But as far as that tax bill, everybody that found out about it, when I found out about it, was floored. Like, why is the taxes so much? I even spoke to people about it, because I got blindsided. But I know regardless of when it's due, I know I have to pay it before March 1st. So I'm going to make it happen. And I'm going to make this business so huge that I'm expanding. And I'm going to build different shops here. I'm going to build more coffee houses. I'm going to make it happen. But I just would appreciate it. I'm human. I'm a minority-owned business, and sometimes we fall behind. And it's not just me. Other people fall behind, but I was just really appalled that I walked in the door with Brian, the white guy, with the bald head. We walked in together last Friday, and we left together. But I was the one the police report was filed against, that had no merit.
Let me say this to you, Mr. Harmon. First of all, when you came in, you sit right there in the chair and you stared at me. Don't tell me what I didn't see. I didn't tell the police you threatened me, okay?
You said you
and hold on. And the reason why I made the police report is because of all the vandalism that was done to our home. I can't trust anyone, okay? I'm not taking, hold on.
The order, please.
I'm not taking a chance with you or no one else, okay? I have a job up here. What was presented to council, as I said to the young man, what was presented to council was the fact to extend your agreement for 6 months. We asked, 2 of the council members asked, was it up to date? Simple question. She didn't know. So Maria gave us the information a week later. Whether it's you, whether it's my husband, it doesn't matter who's standing there at that podium. I have a job to do. So if it's wrong, it's wrong. I said last week, I didn't say put you out. I didn't say close you up. Y'all took it to a whole different level. All I said is that the department heads, the mayor need to make sure we get accurate information before we vote, okay? Because the vote follows us. So if we're giving information that's not true, that don't fall on you. That doesn't fall on you. And what happened with going to the police department, you're not telling, and I'm not for sure who it was. The next morning, I started getting texts that someone put on Facebook that Virginia Williams is not going to be happy until all the businesses are closed. I thought that kind of strange because when you came to me and said, how can you get that building? I didn't turn my back on you. I didn't turn my back on you. I actually gave you the documents to help you have a template to bring a contract to the city, to get the building. The information, I've never been in your place. Okay, so the conversation that's going around, even the young man came up, this is something that's in the community. I've never been in your place, I've never been in your home, and don't plan to. But don't come up here trying to accuse me because I'm doing my job. I asked the question. I never, roll it back, I never said put them out. I never said put them out or close them down. Just to make sure, because once you got that contract from me, you said I'm gonna make sure that I abide by the contract. You said you didn't know anything about the taxes, but you signed the contract and paying property taxes is in there. So maybe, because we do overlook things. I give you that, because I do sometimes, I do. But to take it to another level, to get residents all riled up about something that I said, it was never negative against you. It was never to put you out, Steve. Never. Never. And as you said, I live down the street from you. You could have knocked on my door. But no, it just went from Facebook. I started getting threats. I started getting phone calls.
Who threatened you?
Look,
Just a minute.
that's not even an issue. I'm just telling you, and I'm letting everyone know, it's not me trying to shut you down. If you owe the city, make arrangements and pay them. That's all I was saying in a nutshell. I didn't even say it out in the open, okay?
It's paid.
The information was not given to us correctly to say you was up to date. That was the problem, Steve.
Okay. Well, I'd like to interrupt. Like the young lady mentioned earlier, you guys are neighbors, and I would hope that y'all can work some out that we'll try to make this thing work for some reason. Like, 'cause we all live here, I'm sure that hopefully there's no harm be done to anyone, but if we could just work together and I've listened to both sides, and I'm trying to say that, if, I know y'all neighbors and you work together and been to the houses, so I hope y'all can work things out. Ms. Abdo?
Yes, I would personally like to see us renegotiate the contract with Big Steve, because I really personally feel that the property taxes are way too high. That's how I feel. I was shocked when I found out how much it was. And I thought you were staring at me, Big Steve, not her. And I didn't go file a police report.
It's a public meeting, and the thing about it is, when I found out about the taxes, again, I was told that you would have to pay the property taxes on this building. But when I asked the previous mayor, what are the taxes? He said this building is part of our municipality, so I don't know, but I'll get you the information. But me, I didn't, yeah, exactly. But me, I'm like, man, I did 30 years at Comcast, and I didn't know Art from Comcast. I never met Art until I started going to the brewery. That's who put that post up there, and I never asked him to do that. I never asked him to do it. He did that on his own social media as a free speech, so I never told Art to do that. Never.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I want to say this
But as far as, let me finish this, but again, the previous mayor did not disclose it, but I was trying to say it. I wanted to start my business. If anybody's been through everybody in the subdivision or been through the subdivision, they knew who I was, because when I got off work doing 8, 10 hours, I was in my garage working on bikes. And when I saw this building, and I did briefly talk to you about it, and then I went from, after you gave me the documentation, I talked to Jasmine Dancy, and everything just started rolling right along.
Yes.
But as far as helping me, I mean,
Okay.
You came to me, I help you, and that's just the bottom line, Steve. You can't change it now.
Okay.
But what I want to say pertaining to what Councilwoman Abdo say, if we sit up here and renegotiate the contract to change the taxes, we better do that for everybody in the city. We better do that for everybody in the city. Ain't no way.
Okay, now we're gonna, we can go all night. We're gonna move on.
you know, I'm gonna go sit down.
Please.
But again, when I asked the question, and I even briefly spoke to Stacy about it, and she said she was blown away by how high that tax bill is. You know, and it was, again, there's a fool born every day. That day I signed that lease, I was the fool. Because again, that building, only thing the county did was put some bricks on the outside and built an unnecessary parking lot that's sitting there. That 2 cars or 3 sitting there all day. But I mean, as a business, as a business that's trying, like I said, I didn't ask nobody for no money. And every time I could look on the news, I see all these other businesses all over Wayne County getting hundreds of thousands of dollars, but the people of Romulus get nothing. The people of Romulus, we call the police and for anything, and no disrespect to the police department, because they're understaffed and they're too busy. I've come to you, I've talked to the mayor. Our block is like a racetrack, and there's kids coming through there, and it hasn't stopped.
Okay, Steve, okay, we getting on different subjects now.
But I'm just saying, in general,
And,
we got problems here.
yeah, I know.
Problems.
That's right, I
But
agree.
I'm just saying, regardless, you know, I'd appreciate some help, but if not, I'll fix it. That's what I do.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Normally, the reason I let this go a little longer, because the emphasis was on 2 residents. So, but we're going to keep this 3 minutes from here on out. Thank you.
It's unfair.
I'm the chairman, 3
It
minutes.
doesn't matter, it's unfair.
You out of order.
Have all you want, it's unfair.
I'm the chairman.
Yeah, I know that.
Thank you. Go ahead, Madam Clerk, go ahead.
The next written request is from Yada Phillips.
Hello, City Council, Mayor, community, family, friends. I hate even coming up after all of this. So a little while back, I said something about, it was probably about 3 or 4 council meetings ago. I had said, I came and I was addressing particular businesses in the city of Romulus, being the small businesses and them having a hard time opening up. So after having a meeting with a few people in Wayne County and talking to them about a couple of things, I learned that some of the businesses did run up against some different things that was in here. So I wanted to correct my side of the information that I was asking, so I got that information taken care of. Far as the small businesses in Wayne County, you're right. They get everything. And I just left another meeting with Wayne County asking them, they got like all of these different programs that help all of the small businesses. I'm a small business as well, so I asked them if they could come to Romulus. I said, we got an airport that sits in the middle of Romulus. Y'all give all of this money to Wayne County. Y'all telling us that we have to have a satellite in the city of Detroit. I find that to be interesting. Y'all don't give Romulus anything. So pretty soon, coming up, next council meeting, I will be going to Detroit City Council. Anybody that's a small business that want to help, come support what I'm getting ready to do. My plan is to try to bring some of that development money here to the city of Romulus for the smaller businesses that are in the city of Romulus. I too am impacted by not getting the resources that I need for my business, but I do have the support from the city of Romulus, and I have the support from the council members and many others. So my only goal before the end of this year is to go down and have a conversation with their city council in the city of Detroit and speak to them about those resources that they do withhold and what they can do to support us here in Romulus, because they do take quite a bit of money, for those that don't know, from the airport. The Romulus gets what? How much we get from that airport?
That's a long conversation. We know we get the parking tax that caps out at 1.5 million. We get personal property tax that usually right around $1 million.
How much
and then
they
building
get?
fees.
Don't worry about what we get. How much
Yeah.
they get?
Good luck finding it.
You was about to
You let
give
me
me a
know when
whole
you find
breakdown
out.
of what we get. What
So,
do they get?
Yeah,
They get
I can
quite a
measure
bit,
what we
right?
get, but yeah.
So if anybody wants to support me, I will be finding out when their next city council meeting is, and I am going to go down there and have a discussion with Wayne County, because if we don't speak up, we won't get, a closed mouth does not get fed. We don't speak up, we won't get nowhere. So I have been having meetings, I have been going to many networking meetings. I met with Big Gretch yesterday.
Okay, thank you,
So
Ms.
at
Phillip.
the end of the day, can I say that part?
No,
I met,
that's 3 minutes. I'm sorry, 3 minutes.
No problem.
Okay.
All right.
That'd be fair to everyone. I said 3 minutes.
Mr. Chair, that was the last written
That was the last written? Okay.
Yes.
Any other comments from the audience?
Good evening. I'll agree you're the chairman. I'll agree that, but you're unfair as a chairman. At last week's meeting, you, Mr. Chairman Barden, volunteered extra time to the young lady to discuss her large water bill, and it was justifiably so. I just hope you will be as generous with me as you were with Big Steve and other people tonight, if my persuasion does not offend you. Madam Councilwoman Abdo, if I, a lonely, lowly citizen, listen to what I'm about to tell you, can get a call from the court during court session telling me to come to the parking lot and get a handful of papers, certainly you being an elected city official can get it through standard channels. City attorney, in a letter dated September 22nd, 2022, states the committee has no authority over any decision, only recommendations, which means simply this: the bottom line lands at this man's feet. Robert McCray makes the decisions. That's who does it. Committees do not. It comes to you when it needs a vote. Citizens do not. It lands at the feet of Robert McCray. He's the mayor. It was also made clear from the Chief Judge Oakley that the city has no authority over the court, yet it is my opinion. It is brought about this, it's the court's influence which has brought about this debacle by reneging on their agreement for the military monument, their initial agreement, and a new unseasoned mayor who has not yet found his footing, bowing to the wishes of the court for some personal reason. And let me finally say this. With all due humility, Councilwoman Talley, let me remind you, Councilwoman Talley, since you have the audacity to put,
All right,
I'm going to say it anyway, whether you like it or not,
you better hurry.
the audacity to put the name of the highmost God, Jehovah, in these chambers. Remember, even the devil quoted scripture.
Next, is there any other comments from the audience? There's no other comments from the audience? We'll close that part out. As chairman, I'm going to say this. They brought up that I gave some time to certain persons. I did that because I think they deserve the time. That's my authority I have as chairman. You want to be chairman, you run for office. And see how far you get. Yeah, so this is my authority, and I give, you out of order, sir. You out of order. You keep it up, you out of order. Go ahead, Madam Clerk. I'm not going to go for this too much, Mr. Miller.
What are you going to do about it?
You're going to get escorted out of here.
Oh, well, that's okay. I haven't done that before, too.
I understand, I can understand that too. Go ahead, Madam
You're
Clerk.
not denying my Fourth Amendment right.
Go ahead, Madam Clerk, would you continue?
Oh, yeah, thank you, sir. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yeah. Respect the government, please.
Fourth Amendment right.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, may I move on, please?
Yes, please.
Thank you, thank you.
Please, wow.
Number 9 is unfinished business. Number 10 is new business. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilwoman.
Under unfinished business, Mayor and City Attorney, I know I promised that I would get the documents that I had for you guys Tuesday, and I didn't, but let me give it to you now. And this is just something I'm based on, and you can look at it, because we really need to move forward with the monument. So if the mayor can look at it and see that he was aware back in 2020 that that monument was supposed to go north of the court, it can come back to council. I'm not saying where to put it. I'm just saying, let's do it right. Bring it back to council, let council vote, and I'm sure, you know, you have the votes. And then that way, it's legally done. That's all I'm saying. So that's the information that I had. And one of them, it was on June the 12th. Dave, what if I placed the community sign further north, past the monument? I mean, and he's sending it to you. Just not taken away from the veteran monument, maybe rendering halfway from the monument to the north property line would help, and then I would, you would help decide. So email after email. And so I'm not telling you what to do, but it's people that want it over here, it's people that want it over there. If you bring it back to us as the mayor, because you're the executive chief officer of the law. So whatever the council vote on, you push it through. So if you bring it to council and let council vote, that should settle everything. Because that monument been out, what, about 3 years now?
Probably closer to 4 now.
You know,
Probably closer to 4 when they
so,
started
I mean, at
construction.
least we can move past this.
Right.
I mean, I know even those that support Steve, a lot of people don't like what's said sometimes, and that's life. Get over it. But it is what it is. You know, we have to do what we're supposed to do, whether it's liked or not. You know, so I just say that to you under unfinished business.
No, I
told you.
agree. There were several communications that went about locations for it, but the site plan showed it, and that's what, my point was to say that council didn't vote on the site plan. Council voted on the project itself. That being said, as OHM is working on the topo and the renderings for proposed location right now. I'll have that in November. When I have that in November, I'll schedule a study session. I'll bring that and the current location out here before council. We'll put this to bed. What the majority says what we're going to do, that's what we're going to do.
Thank you.
Yeah, my point was just that the council didn't approve a site plan for that because it wasn't a SLU. But that said, the nature of this topic and the amount of public comment, both 2 and 4, the relocation of the Veterans Memorial Park. Once we have that rendering, we'll have one more meeting and we'll invite people and we'll put it to bed once and for all.
And I appreciate that, and if I would have been on council at the time, I would have had it, but I wasn't on council when the council voted for the court to build that new court and move the monument and replace it. So, I mean, you have people that's for it, you have people that are against it, but I think what would put it to rest is that, you know, you do as you just said, you know, bring all the paperwork to the council and then council vote.
Yeah, we'll do a study session, and we'll make sure we publicize, and stakeholders and the people who are passionate in the community come out, and we'll figure out which way to go and what's the best way to move forward for our community.
John. Mayor, when you do that, can you bring the schematics for both locations?
Absolutely.
That's what I would like to see a drawing for it here at the City Hall, because it looks so small up there, but, you know, I just want to make sure it'll fit.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I'll agree with
what?
my colleague, because I'm sitting here thinking, and you're speaking on a site plan. It's small out there. And people, you know, are really wanting to put their bricks out there. And I always wondered, but at the time, because the residents, some of the people wanted it there, didn't realize that the court building was going to be as large and take up as much room. So this out here is small, so I would like very much to see the site plans as well before the meeting.
Right. No, I agree. And we'll, as soon as OHM's done with the drawings, we'll submit both of them, let everybody talk about them, see which one they like. And on paper, during design, it shows it'll fit there. But once we looked at it, and I wish I could take credit for the idea, but I can't, it wasn't my idea, with the Veterans Memorial Park. I thought that's way more appealing because I thought it showcases the monument, not just you get lost in the architecture that is the municipal complex. But we already have those drawings for the existing site. Once we have that for the Veterans Memorial Park, we'll do a study session and everybody can talk about it. I mean, it's not going to get built over the winter anyways, but that we're ready to go in the spring and get this thing out.
Is there any more unfinished business from council?
No.
Okay, thank you. Number 10 is new business.
Ms. Page?
Thank you. Just a couple of things that I wanted to share in general, just so the public is aware. With the new purchase, building improvements, always check with the assessor's office on taxes. I think most of us are surprised when we buy a new piece of property, a home, and we get that tax bill. There's a lot of moving parts. Some are homestead, some are non-homestead. There's special assessments, some are uncapped. So there's a lot of moving parts. So I would encourage you, if you are looking to buy a house, lease a building, make improvements, check with your assessor's office first so you know what the tax is going to be prior to the build or the move. As always, if you have any questions, you can always call the treasurer's office at 734-942-7580. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more new business?
New business? Nope.
All right, takes us to number 11, communication.
Mr. Bart.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Talley.
Yes, let's get at it. First of all, before I get started on the few announcements I have, let me say this, that God is so good at being God. Thank you, Jesus. And then I want to get into some good things that have been going on over in our city over the last week. We had our Romulus football team this week. They lost the game this week, but I just want to keep them encouraged and persevering in what they're doing. I think I just want to commend Charles seriously for the work he's doing with these boys and keep the good work going. He's got a good football staff with him, and we just keep persevering. So just keep up the good work and keep on working together, and y'all got this. And then I want to shout out to, I worked the concession stand again because we had all-class reunion this past weekend. We had a banquet on Friday evening. I couldn't attend because I wanted to help out at the concession stand for the boys, and so that David Jones, who has been a long time volunteering for the boosters since 1997. Yolanda Brown, that's what her name was when we were in school together, but it might be different. But Yolanda Brown, who's been a long-term supporter of the concession stand and the boosters, wanted to attend the banquet that evening along with a lot of other Romulus residents. I heard it was a great event, well-attended. But I deferred to go work at the concession stand so that they can go and enjoy themselves at the banquet on Friday night, and well-deserved for all their work that they do in our community. Thank you, David Jones. Thank you, Yolanda Brown and her daughter Devin, for all y'all work and dealing with the concessions and working it for so many years. Thank you for your service. I worked along with Pierce McCarthy. Miss Abdo was there with me, and a couple of young men that was in there with us working the concession stand. So thank you for everybody on Friday night as we was out there working and helping and supporting our team that evening. Thank you. We had an all-class reunion on Saturday. It was really well, very nice turnout. It's good to be in the company of the people you went to school with. So thanks to everybody who was a part of that, and let's just keep that growing. And then next, we have a young man, Upscale Warehouse. I haven't talked about them in a minute, but there's a young man named Cameron McCullum and friends. He will be there this Saturday at the Upscale Warehouse Lounge. Cameron McCullum and friends. Saturday, October 8th, from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Cover is $10. Dress code is casual, formal attire, no sweats, no hoodies, no flip-flops, no active wear, 21 and up, at 6492 Wayne Road in Romulus. This young man was the second place winner in the Romulus Got Talent on Unity Day, so anybody that wants to come out and hear this guy, he is amazing, and so is his band. They will be at the Upscale Warehouse this Saturday at 9 p.m. And then lastly, I want to shout out to the Cooleys, Steve and Vonda Cooley, for 34 years of marriage. Congratulations. Steve is a member of the Larry Lee and the Back in the Day band. They played at the Pumpkin Fest this year, and just want to shout them out for 34 years of marriage. Great job and congratulations. And then lastly, just stay connected. Let's stay informed. Let's stay involved. Let's stay engaged in our community. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Barton.
Thank you. You're welcome. Any other comments?
Through the chair.
Yes, Mayor?
Just on the communications, I just want to, there's been a lot of talk in the last few weeks about these businesses we're trying to incubate in our downtown. I just want to make sure that we come back to why we started this program. It's not an ideal situation, but we know our downtown has been struggling, so we got to think outside the box with these programs. DDA has got involved in taking a proactive approach. And with the inceptions of Big Steve's in this building, even though when we started down that journey, we didn't know Big Steve's was going to be the one that was going to be there. We were able to up our value at our city property. So the city property went from a dilapidated structure with the dirt parking lot to a valuable structure. So we've increased the value of a city asset over there. But the underlying issue is trying to incubate a downtown business. And we've got to think outside the box. So we're doing things right now in Romulus. Channel 4 got wind of it, came out and did a report. Other communities are trying to emulate. So there's not, we're not the only downtown that's had to struggle like this. So we're going to try to do these things and think outside the box. And we had a history of landlords that wouldn't do anything with their sites. The city ideally doesn't want to be a landlord, doesn't want to control sites. Maybe you incubate these businesses that they grow in the community, then they buy the building one day. Or they move and we incubate another business. We keep growing multiple businesses. But it's been a great positive experience. At the end of the day, the city will not subsidize these businesses. There's a contract that's signed, and we'll make sure that we adhere to the contract. But we also got to make sure we do all we can to support them. Mary Druya, DDA director, has contracted with the business advisor to work with our businesses we're trying to incubate. You might be good at your profession, but you might not be a good business person. So we're going to try to give an additional, lend a hand of support too, to make sure they're going to succeed. At the end of the day, we all want to succeed together. We all want to grow together. It's been a positive experience. We've had multiple, down at the brewery down there with Big Steve's help, we've had the Rumble in Romulus. We've had a fundraiser for employees with cancer. We've had a fundraiser with St. John's Lodge down there for sickle cell. A lot of good, positive community building is going on down there, and that brings people who've never come to our downtown, never come to our city, and they look around and they see that. There's a lot of conversation right now. We had talks, and I can't promise anything because it's just talks, but they came down there for an event, and they saw it and say, hey, what about a coffee house? And we all want something like that. So maybe there's opportunities right here. We got to think outside the box. And again, I can't reiterate enough that we are not going to subsidize buildings or businesses down there. We're going to incubate them. We're going to help them. We're going to do all we can to help them. We'll keep looking for grants, turning over every stone we can to make sure they're going to succeed, and help them grow and come to Romulus. You know, Steve, Brian, before you guys got invested in our downtown, I never even knew these guys. But now they're down there, we're trying to do events all the time. And even though it's not one of our buildings, let's look at Rachel Bowe too. She's new to our downtown, and look at the downtown events she's had. Fabulous crafted vendor shows, bringing people down there, traffic to people who never came to Romulus before. And that's what we need to keep doing. And think of innovative new ideas if we're going to try to have a downtown district we can be proud of. So I just wanted to remind everybody where we're at. This is about business incubation and growing community, not just trying to turn a profit. We're not leasing these buildings out to turn a profit for the city. We just can't subsidize these guys. So, thank you, sir.
Okay. Ms. Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Under communication, I just want to announce that our city treasurer was honored at the alumni banquet dinner on Friday night. So just congratulations, Treasurer Page. There were 3 other honorees there, but she was the alumni of the year. Okay, the alumni of the year. So congratulations. It was a great event. I was able to attend, even though I'm not a Romulus graduate, but still, it's adopted. But Mayor McCrate did an amazing job just opening up the ceremony. But again, congratulations, Treasurer Page.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, I would like to remind everyone that's viewing about Forgotten Harvest every Tuesday from 10 to 12. And I also like to speak to those that seen that post, and to Steve and his supporters. As I said, you go back and you look at the council meeting. It was purposely that the DDA director didn't give council the right information, okay? And council voted. And our votes follow us. It's very important. It's not about your business. It's public business. You're leasing a city building. That building belonged to every resident. It's not personal. So for you guys to take it personal, that was a little out of character. But that's fine with me. That's what I'm here for. I can take a licking and keep ticking. I'm used to it. But at the same time, I want to find out why the Romulus police will tell you I filed a complaint against you, because I didn't. I didn't. And I have a major problem with that. You sitting there staring at me is one thing, but saying that I want to file a complaint against you, that's not true. I'm just saying. I'm talking now. You done. We're done with you. We're done. No, but you're sitting there and you're done. I'm speaking because I'm really beside this. All of your supporters coming. You chose to get in the position you're in. I didn't put you in there.
Okay.
But as a council person, I have to speak up, whether you like it or not. I'm done, John.
Okay, thank you. Any more communication?
Just one correction. The DDA didn't give the wrong information. She didn't have the answer to the question. She didn't give wrong information, so I don't want anybody to think that she gave misinformation out to council. She couldn't answer the question. She didn't
Okay,
have
but
the
you know
information.
what, Mayor? Then the next time the information is not clear, then we should table it until we get the right information. And I was actually talking to my colleagues, not you, Mayor, not Steve, or anyone else. Make sure we got the right information before we vote. That was the key to it.
Okay. Any more communications? If there's no more communication, I'd like to give my condolences to Anthony Bowers. Father passed away today. He was St. John's 44 member. He is my granddaughter's uncle, Anthony Bowers. So keep him in your prayers. His father passed this morning. Thank you.
If there's no further communication, takes us to number 12, adjournment.
So move to adjourn.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley for adjournment. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes?
Ms. Webb? Oh, I'm sorry. Chair votes yes, we are adjourned.